Hello everyone, my name is Joni and welcome to Love Qualified. Today I'm going to be talking about the current funding status for physician associate students in the UK. So I have received a lot of questions about funding the course, and as some of you guys may know, I just finished my first year of PA school, and I just thought I'll make this video and answer some of the questions that I've been getting regarding funding, and I hope that is going to be helpful for you guys who are starting the course or you guys who are thinking about applying for the course. The first thing that I wanted to say is that the PA course at the moment in the UK is quite expensive. So you can either choose to do an MSc in Physician Associate Studies or a Masters in Physician Associate Studies, which is what I do at St. George's, or you can do a PG Dip, which is a postgraduate diploma. Some unis offer a PG Dip and some unis offer an MSc. The only difference between the two is that with the Masters or the MSc, you do a dissertation or some module that covers the credit for the dissertation. So at the end of it, you get an MSc or a Masters. But for the PG Dip, which is a postgraduate diploma, you don't do that. That's the only difference between the two. It wouldn't affect your job prospects or anything like that. So it's just basically the dissertation component. And also the fact that if you're doing a PG Dip, you are not qualified for the postgraduate loan. The postgraduate loan is offered to the unis that do to students in the unis that do the MSc program. So I guess it's something that you would want to think about when you're looking at unis that you want to apply to. I'm going to be talking mainly based on, again, from my experience and from my university. I go to St. George's in London, and most London unis, the funding is pretty much the same as what I'm going to talk about in this video. I know that for different unis, I think some unis in the Midlands or in Scotland or stuff like that, some unis can pay for your tuition. I think you can go there for free, and then when you graduate you can work around the area. I don't know much about those things. I think you would have to do your research as well and look at the website, look at their funding status or how they fund the course on their website to get more information. You do get the postgraduate loan for each year of the course. The postgraduate loan is, for the 2 years in total, is £10,600, but they don't give you all at once. Remember, this is for both years. This is for the 2-year course, and so they split it into two, and so you get about £5,200 and something each year. So at the beginning, you get about £5,200 each year, but then they split that £5,200 into three. And then they give you the money in 3 installments. This is very different from undergrad, because with undergrad, if you remember, if you did your undergrad in the UK, the money doesn't come to you. Student Finance usually pays the money straight to your university, so the 9,250 or whatever it was you paid in undergrad straight to your university. With this course, the money comes to you, and you have to sort out paying the tuition to your university. Well, at least that's how it's done at my university. Again, I'm speaking for St. George's. I don't know how it's done for other unis, but I know that you do get the 5,200 and something pounds each year, and that is split into 3, so you get it at the beginning of each term. Now, we don't get a maintenance loan. At the moment, we're not getting a maintenance loan, so we only get the postgraduate loan, and that's it. So again, that makes things a lot difficult, because then if you're not living at home and you're living close to uni, if you've moved away from home, you have to sort out things like rent and travel expenses and traveling to placement and all of that stuff, and buying stuff for the course and all of that. We don't get a maintenance loan at the moment, so you'd have to think about that. So so you get that postgraduate loan, they give it to you, and then it doesn't cover up for the 9,500. So for my university, when I applied for the course, the fees was £9,500 a year. But I think it's gone up to £10,000 now. I'm not sure. You would have to check. It's gone up to £10,000 now, I think. For some unis, for different unis, it's different. I know that for, I think, Sheffield, it's still 9,250. So please do your research and check for each uni what the fees actually But on top of the postgraduate loan, we get a Health Education England grant. So we get a grant from HEE, and this grant started last year. We were the first cohort to actually get this grant, which is really, really good because it really helps a lot. So the grant is £5,000 for both years. So again, they give you £2,500 for each year, I think. Yeah, so with the grants, the way it works, or at my uni, the way it works is that they don't even give the money to you. What the uni does is the uni just subtracts everything from your total fees, and then they give you an invoice, and then they tell you how much you're supposed to pay. So at my uni, we pay 50% at the end of October. We pay 50% of the fees at the end of October. Then we pay 25% in January, and then 25% of the fees in April. So that's the beginning of each term. So obviously the biggest one to pay is the first one, the first installment, which is at the end of October. Obviously, if you can't do that, if you can't pay the 50%, then you can say that you want to pay 25, 25, 50. So you can discuss with them. So that's currently the current status of what we're getting in terms of support financially. So I've mentioned the postgraduate loan that you can get, and also the grants from Health Education England. In fact, you can also get some financial help as well. I know that I did have a friend who was doing the course last year, and she did apply to some companies to see if she could get some financial help. You could set up a GoFundMe page. I guess there's loads of other ways, and other companies. I think for this one, I don't have much knowledge about that, so I would suggest that you do your research and plan ahead so you know how you're going to raise money for the fees. But that's what the government is currently giving us. I am really hoping that in the future the funding will be a lot better for PA students, because I think it's a bit unfair that we don't get that much help, especially the fact that we don't get a maintenance loan. So I'm really hoping that that would change for future cohorts, but at the moment this is what we're getting, which is a lot better than what the previous cohorts were getting. When the very first cohorts trained for the course, they did not get any help whatsoever. So it is getting better, but I hope that it gets even more better for future PA students, so that people wouldn't be restricted to do the course because they can't afford it. Another question that people have been asking me is what I think about working during the course. So I have a job, but I don't work during term time. I work during holiday period. So now that I'm at home during the summer, I work, and also over Christmas holidays and Easter break I work as well. That's what I did in my first year. Obviously I don't know if that would be the case in second year, but that's what I did in my first year. I think that it all depends on you, what you think you can do. Working during the course is not recommended by our course director, by people in the years above, even some people that I know that have been doing the course and have been working. A lot of people don't recommend it because it is quite stressful. The course itself is very intense, so adding work on top of it can mean that you don't spend as much time focusing on the course, and that might affect you academically. But at the same time, it's all up to you. It's all up to how much you need the money, how badly you need the money, or how organized you are. It's generally not recommended. It's generally frowned upon. But I know a lot of people on my course who have jobs. There are quite a few nurses on my course who work weekends, or some people even work during the week as well. People work 5, 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours every week. And so I guess that depends on you and how organized you are. So one thing that I would recommend is that what I did in first year is I worked as a student ambassador. So I know the girl who owns the YouTube channel, the Hijabi Physician Associate YouTube channel. If you don't know her, go and follow her. She's doing loads of videos. She's another PA student here on YouTube and on Instagram. Follow her. She mentioned doing a student ambassador job as well during her course. I'm a student ambassador as well at my uni. What I would say is when you start uni, apply for the student ambassador job straight away. They pay really, really well, and you can do as many jobs as you want. Like you can when you're available. So I just do like open days and open evenings when I can. You don't have to, you're not committed to anything, you just pick shifts depending on your availability. So do that. You can apply for mentoring programs if you want to mentor other people. If you can work on campus as well, maybe work in the student union shop or the bar or whatever. I don't know how big your campus is. You can apply for jobs on campus as well. And I know quite a few people who have Etsy shops, so they have side businesses. Some of my friends, my friend who has the YouTube channel My Journey to PA, I'm going to leave the YouTube channels down below. She owns a business. It's called Couture by Bemi. She makes like handmade fans and other like purses and things with African fabric, like African material, and she's really good. So she does that on the side, and it's really helped her a lot. So if you do make things, that you can sell them on Etsy, and that can give you some money during the course. Or I know the Hijabi Physician Association, the girl who has that channel mentioned about Depop, that she sells a lot of her clothes on Depop as well. So there's loads of different things that you can do on the side. I mean, I have an Etsy shop as well, which I started at the beginning of the year. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to put a lot of effort, like a lot of time into the shop, so I had to close it at some point. But I did have an Etsy shop as well, which was kind of like my side hustle, but I just didn't have time to put in all my energy into it, so that was closed down. But I might restart it again in the future. I'm hoping to restart it again in the future when I have more time. So it's about thinking about stuff like that. If you crochet or you knit or you make things like that, you might want to do that and sell those on Etsy, or think about other ways in which you can make money. So those are some ideas. Another thing that some people have been considering is doing the course part-time. So I know that not all unis offer the course part-time, but my uni, St. George's, does. So that's another way that you could use to save money. So with part-time at St. George's, in first year, they're only in 3 days a week, so Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that means you have 2 days off, so you can use those days to work, and during the weekend as well. And then in the second year of the course, you're only in uni twice a week, which is you're on placements on Wednesdays, and then you're in on Fridays for clinical skills. But then the final year for the part-time program is full-time, so you're gonna have to do placements full-time. So you can use those first 2 years to work and save money. That's another option if you want to do the course for 3 years instead of 2. So for people who already have a family, who have children, who have kids, who have a job and they want to work to save money, that's another option that you can choose to do if you can. Or if you have family or friends who can help you raise money to cover up the fees or help you with paying your rent, and you can pay them back, that's another option that you can think about. My biggest advice would be to try and save up before you start. Just try and think about the costs of everything. Like, it's good to plan ahead. Like, I would say literally plan ahead, and if you work as much as you can and save up as much as you can, so that when you start you wouldn't be thinking about money and all of that stuff. It's kind of hard to say all these things, because then when you start, like, you still have to think about money, you still have to think about these things. But I feel like the more you save up and the more prepared you are, the less stressed you're going to be. Because to be honest, like, every time it's time to pay fees or pay rents, like, I'm always stressed about where to get money from, if the money is going to be enough and all of that kind of stuff. But I feel like if you can, then working and saving up money, especially for those who haven't applied yet. So if you're in your gap year now, you're working as a HCA or wherever you're working, then you can save up a lot of money leading up to the course. I remember when I took a gap year and I worked for 1 year as a HCA, I was able to save up quite a lot of money before I started uni, so that could help you. And especially those who are in sixth form. I know that there's someone who watches my videos who is still in sixth form, but she's thinking about doing the course. Girl, you've got a long time that you can save up, but then hopefully by the time you start the course as well, the financial situation would have changed and the funding situation would have changed, and obviously you wouldn't need to do that. But again, my biggest tip would be to start start saving right now. Like start putting money into your ISA or your savings account, or just put a standing order into your saving account and try and be saving money every month, because you need as much money as you can get, especially for people who are starting this year or starting next year. The last thing I just wanted to talk about is sponsorships. So I don't know if every uni offers this, but I know that there have been talks at my uni about some I think GP surgeries or practices, or some hospitals who are willing to sponsor students in their second year or for both years, and then in exchange those students would have to work for them at least for a certain number of time after they qualify. Again, I don't know much information about that, and my uni hasn't even given us much information about that, but it's something that you can start researching and start thinking about if that's something that you would want to do. So, you know, there is a catch. If they sponsor you, you would have to work for them for at least a number of time after you qualify. So that's something that you might want to think about. But yeah, anyway, I hope that these things have answered your questions. If you have any more questions about funding or finances and PA school, please leave them down below and I'll try my best to answer. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day and God bless. Bye.